Chapter 1. You owe me a husband, so I brought you one. Azriel. Quinn regretted everything. Not just the heels, not the ridiculous silk suit that shimmered like he was auditioning for a toothpaste commercial, not even the part where he was pretending to be married. No. He regretted agreeing to do a favor for his cousin, because that favor had a name. Dominic freaking Renner. Azriel side-eyed the 6'3" block of solid alpha muscle standing next to him at the altar, dressed in an immaculate black-on-black tux, a cold expression carved into his chiseled face. Until he looked at Azriel. Then he smiled. That stupid, rare, genuine smile that had no business being so damn attractive. Azriel scowled. Stop smiling like that. Dominic tilted his head slightly. Like what? Like you just married your favorite dessert. I did. Oh my God, Azriel muttered, face heating. I will stab you with this boutonniere. 12 hours earlier. Let me get this straight, Azriel snapped, glaring at his cousin Liana. You want me to pretend I'm married to some CEO I don't even know? For what? A company merger? He's not some CEO, Liana whispered with the kind of fear reserved for tax audits and horror movies. He's Dominic Renner. Azriel blinked. That guy who's nicknamed the Ice Emperor because he doesn't smile, fires people for breathing wrong, and allegedly bought a private island just to ban his ex from it? Yes. But good news. He agreed to fake marry you for the weekend so the investors think he's family-oriented. Azriel deadpanned. What part of me screams family man? You're pretty, sharp-tongued, and your social media looks like a home goods catalog. He saw your picture and said yes immediately. Azriel narrowed his eyes. That was suspiciously easy. Flashback, 1 year ago, Dominic Renner didn't believe in fate. He believed in quarterly reports, calculated investments, and the perfect silence of being alone. Then, Azriel Quinn threw champagne in someone's face at a wedding and changed everything. It was supposed to be a forgettable business wedding, but Dominic's attention snapped toward the laughter ringing out from the dessert table. A sharp-tongued Omega in a red velvet suit was arguing with the pastry chef over a stolen slice of cake. I licked it. Therefore, it's mine, Azriel had declared. Dominic had frozen. That voice, that sass, that ridiculously smug smirk. His alpha instincts howled. He'd never been so confused and captivated. He didn't even notice he was smiling until his assistant whispered, Sir, you're scaring people. From that moment on, Dominic Renner did what any cold, calculating alpha would do when struck by fate. He stalked Azriel online. He memorized his social handles, watched every story, attended the same art gallery events. In disguise. He even bought a designer tote Azriel once mocked just to see him roll his eyes in person. And when he found out Liana, Azriel's cousin, was trying to secure a business merger, he offered the deal, on one condition. Azriel would pretend to be his husband. Present day, fake wedding venue. Azriel stood stiff beside Dominic as the faux vows ended. He mumbled through his lines, gripping the bouquet like a weapon. He was going to murder Liana. Then himself, probably in that order. Dominic, however, looked like he was at a real wedding. Eyes soft, touch gentle. Azriel elbowed him. Why are you acting like this isn't fake? Dominic blinked, innocent. I'm just committed to the performance. You're acting like I'm your beloved. Because you are. Azriel's mouth opened, then closed, then opened again. What? Nothing, Dominic said smoothly. Smile, there are cameras. Azriel smiled like a shark baring its teeth. Later that night, the staged wedding photos went viral. Hashtags like Ice Emperor marries Fire Pixie and CEO and Chaos Wife trended for 8 hours. Azriel stared at his phone in horror. It looks like I actually married you. Dominic entered the suite carrying something under a white cloth. Azriel narrowed his eyes. What's that? Dominic unveiled it with a soft smile. I thought you'd be tired. I brought cake, your favorite. Red velvet, 3 layers. Azriel paused. Eh, Okay, slightly creepy, but also acceptable. Dominic sat beside him, expression almost shy. Since we're married now, he said, voice casual but eyes burning, I was hoping you'd move in. Ezreal choked on the cake. Move, excuse me, into your ice castle of capitalism? Dominic looked mildly amused. I already cleared a room. Why? For nesting. Ezreal dropped the fork. What? Why? This is fake. Temporary. I don't even like you. Dominic leaned in, voice low. But I like you, so I made it real. Ezreal's heart thudded in his chest. You're insane. Dominic smiled, sharp and dangerously soft. Only for you. Chapter 2. Why did you fire my boss and buy me a mansion? Scene 1. This is not what I meant by consummating the deal. The room was dim, lit only by the golden hue of the fireplace and the lingering scent of sugar, spice, and the faint tension that had been crackling between them for weeks. Ezreal stood in the doorway of the massive penthouse bathroom, towel hanging off his waist, glare sharp. Dominic, in a silk robe that did unholy things to Ezreal's brain, stood at the end of the bed holding a tray with tea and protein cupcakes. Why are you looking at me like you're about to devour me? Ezreal snapped. Dominic tilted his head, slow and predatory. Because I am. Ezreal's mouth opened. You can't just say stuff like that. That's alpha behavior. Dominic set the tray down, crossing the room in fluid, confident steps. Ezreal, he said, voice lower than usual, do you want this to stay fake? Ezreal's heart kicked up a notch. They'd been dancing around each other for weeks, flirting, bantering, late-night cake sessions. And ever since that damned wedding photo, Ezreal had found himself stuck to Dominic's side, more than he cared to admit. You're obsessed, Ezreal muttered, throat dry. Yes, Dominic agreed shamelessly, but I've waited long enough. I need to touch you, claim you, but only if you let me. Ezreal blinked, then smirked. Then stop talking, Renner. What followed could only be described as CEO-level consummation. Slow, thorough, and entirely possessive. Dominic kissed like he owned Ezreal. Ezreal kissed like he was fighting back. Sheets were torn, necks were bitten. And somewhere between the third round and the tangled aftermath, Ezreal mumbled, breathless, I still hate you. Dominic smiled against his shoulder. I love that for you. Scene 2. Why are you rearranging my life like IKEA furniture? Weeks later, Ezreal woke up to 3 things. 1. His inbox overflowing. 2. His boss quitting mysteriously. 3. Dominic leaning over him, coffee in one hand and an unsettlingly innocent smile on his face. Ezreal narrowed his eyes. What did you do? Dominic blinked. I took care of your problem. What problem? Your idiot client. The one who made you redo that logo 7 times, then ghosted you. You fired him? Dominic shrugged. Technically, I acquired his company and demoted him to paper shredder. It was efficient. Ezreal sat up, sheets pooling at his waist. You can't just go around ending people's careers like that. You cried, Dominic said calmly, voice tight. I told you, I declare war on anyone who makes you cry. Ezreal gaped at him. Oh, and also, Dominic added casually, I bought your apartment building. Ezreal stared. Dominic sipped his coffee. It was old and the walls were thin. Also, the elevator squeaked. I hated it. You deserve better. You're insane. I'm in love, Dominic corrected. There's a difference. Scene 3. The mansion with the nesting room? 2 days later, a driver picked Ezreal up. Ezreal, suspicious as hell, demanded answers. I just want to show you something, Dominic said. That something turned out to be a mansion, with lake views, a personal studio, and... Is this a nesting room? Ezreal asked flatly, staring at the soft padded room full of plush blankets, low lighting, calming scents, and cake-scented diffusers. Yes, I'm not even nesting. You will be, Dominic said confidently. What? I read up on omega physiology. Stress relief is important. Also, you have low blood sugar, so I installed a cupcake oven in the kitchen. Ezreal rubbed his temples. You stalked my medical records too? No, Dominic said. I just watched you pass out during that gallery event after eating nothing but cake and rage for a full day, so I started baking. You baked? Dominic presented a tray. Ezreal glared. Stop trying to seduce me with baked goods. You like my muffins. I hate that you're right. Scene 4. You're pregnant, aren't you? It all happened during a Monday. A cursed, terrible, chaotic Monday. Ezreal had been late to a pitch, tripped over a decorative fountain, spilled frosting on a gallery investor, and screamed at a paparazzi. By the time he got home, he was done. He marched into the kitchen, growled at the sight of heart-shaped cupcakes, and muttered, I need a napper, Death. Instead, he made it halfway up the stairs, then threw up in the designer plant. Dominic, rushing to catch him, held his hair back in alarm. Ezreal? Ezreal groaned. I swear, if this is that rich people shrimp salad again. Dominic went deadly still. When was your last heat? Ezreal blinked. Wait. Dominic's expression turned pale, then dark, then something feral. You're pregnant, aren't you? Ezreal froze. Dominic's hands shook as he cupped Ezreal's face. Say it. Tell me it's mine. You're literally the only one Of course it's yours, you alpha psycho. Dominic's wolf surged beneath his skin, growling low and victorious. Ezreal's voice cracked. Don't go all weird on me. But Dominic was already pulling him into a crushing hug, whispering against his neck, I'll build you a kingdom. I'll burn the world if you even shiver. You're mine. Mine. Ezreal blinked. Okay, that's hot and scary. Dominic kissed his temple. Good. Get used to it. Chapter 3. Stop smiling. You're supposed to be the Ice Emperor. Breaking news. Ice Emperor to become DILF? It started with a sneeze. Ezreal had been standing beside Dominic outside an art exhibit when he sneezed, adorably, and Dominic instantly took off his multi-thousand-dollar designer coat to wrap him like a burrito. On camera. In public. The paparazzi, obviously stalking them since the fake wedding, caught it. 10 minutes later, the image went viral with the caption, Ice Emperor loses chill for mystery Omega spouse pregnancy rumors rise. Ezreal would have rolled his eyes and ignored it. But then Dominic's PR team confirmed the pregnancy. Ezreal screamed when he saw the headline. Dominic shrugged, sipping tea. They were going to find out eventually. You made me a viral baby meme. Twitter is calling me the CEO breeder. I hate you. Dominic. That's rich, coming from someone who's currently pregnant with my child. Ezreal screams again but eats the cupcake Dominic made anyway. Why is there a security detail following my mood swings? Ezreal noticed something strange on Tuesday. Like the two enormous men in sunglasses hovering behind him during his trip to the grocery store. Why do I have bodyguards now? Ezreal asked, biting into a lemon tart. Dominic texted back instantly. In case you cry again. Ezreal blinked. You sent them because I got emotional over spilled sprinkles? Dominic. Yes, it was distressing. Ezreal turned and glared at the bodyguards. They both offered him tissues. Ezreal took one and muttered, I hate how efficient this is. Scene 3. Prenatal yoga and the alpha in a cashmere tracksuit. Dominic joined him for prenatal yoga. Uninvited. Ezreal stared at the 6'3" alpha CEO trying to gracefully squat into a butterfly pose while being surrounded by heavily pregnant Omegas and motivational quote posters. Leave, Ezreal hissed. You look like a finance cult leader trying to find inner peace. I want to bond with you and our pup. Bond with gravity and fall down. Dominic stayed. He did every pose, badly. He cried during the meditation part. Ezreal, you are literally insane. Dominic, sniffling. They played lullaby music. I got emotional. Ezreal had to pretend he wasn't kinda soft about that. This is a boardroom, not a baby shower. Dominic's company had a quarterly board meeting. Ezreal didn't want to go. Dominic begged. Puppy eyes, cupcakes, head in Ezreal's lap. You know, the usual CEO things. So Ezreal showed up, sat in the corner, ate grapes. Then the CFO asked something about shifting priorities and CEO focus. And Dominic stood up, calm and regal, and said, "My priority is my mate and child. You can fire me if you disagree." Ezreal choked on a grape. The entire boardroom went silent. Dominic turned, full puppy smile, and winked. Ezreal screamed internally. Later that night, Ezreal smacked him with a pillow. "You're a trillionaire lunatic in love, not a husband." Dominic kissed his forehead. "Correction, I'm your lunatic, darling cupcake." Ezreal blushed so hard he turned pink. "Stop calling me that." Dominic smirked. "Why? You're soft and sweet and make me go feral." Ezreal buried his face in a pillow and screamed again. He was starting to scream a lot these days. "Hello, surprise bump reveal." 4 months later, Ezreal's baby bump was impossible to hide, no matter how many layers he wore. He decided to finally visit Liana, his traitorous cousin, who had just flown back into the country. The moment Liana opened the door and saw Ezreal's belly, she screamed so loud a neighbor threatened to call the police. "You're pregnant." Ezreal sipped from his juice box. "Yes." "With who?" Dominic Renner." "The Ice Emperor." "Yes, the same man you forced me to fake marry. He took it very seriously, like billionaire level seriously." Liana. But it was fake." Ezreal smirked like a Disney villain. "Not to him." Then Ezreal explained everything. The cupcakes, the nesting mansion, the stalking, the yoga, the obsessive cuddling. Liana. "That's weirdly romantic and terrifying." Ezreal flopped onto her couch. "I was annoyed at first, but now? He's obsessed with me. I'm pregnant, and I can make him do literally anything." "You're proud of that?" "I'm thrilled," Ezreal said, wicked grin on his face. "I'm a menace, and now I have a billionaire alpha under my thumb." Liana blinked. "You're glowing." Ezreal beamed. "Hormones and power." Cupcake world domination. Later that night, Dominic picked him up. Ezreal pretended to complain the whole way home. "You didn't tell me you bought out the prenatal vitamins company I like." "You said their packaging was ugly. I fixed it." "You're literally mad." "I'm yours." Ezreal looked out the window to hide his smile. Because even though he would never, ever admit it, he was starting to fall for him. And Dominic? Dominic knew it. He reached over and gently squeezed Ezreal's hand. "You don't have to say it. I can feel it," he whispered. Ezreal rolled his eyes. "Ugh, gross." But didn't let go. Chapter 4. I tried to run away, but he found me with a GPS-enabled pregnancy pillow. Ezreal's great escape plan that lasted 17 minutes. Ezreal was done. Done with the paparazzi. Done with yoga classes where Dominic cried at lullaby music. Done with being spoon-fed vitamins. And done with security guards named Kyle, who followed him into the bathroom to check the air quality. So, naturally, he decided to escape. "I'm just going for a drive," he mumbled, grabbing his bag, phone, and water bottle. He didn't tell Dominic. Because that man would wrap him in bubble wrap and a $20,000 security blanket if he even hinted at a walk. Ezreal opened the garage. His car was spotless. Too spotless. Inside, it was... what the hell? The passenger seat was filled with custom plush toys. The back seat had pregnancy-safe cushions, fuzzy pillows, and a mini fridge filled with juice boxes and protein cupcakes. There was even a plush steering wheel cover that smelled like cinnamon comfort pheromones. "He rigged my car," Ezreal whispered. Still, he climbed in, because he needed air, freedom, space. He got exactly 17 minutes of peaceful driving before his dashboard lit up. Incoming call, Dominic Renner. Ezreal declined it. A minute later, bright headlights in his rear view. Ew, you've got to be kidding me. The pregnant menace is not amused. Dominic's sleek black SUV cut in front of Ezreal and gently forced his car to stop. Ezreal glared out the window. Dominic emerged like a romance novel villain turned puppy, hair tousled, shirt wrinkled, panic in his eyes. He opened the car door and cupped Ezreal's face. "Are you okay? Why didn't you tell me?" Ezreal swatted his hands away. "You found me using a GPS tracker and a pillow." "A freaking pillow?" Dominic didn't even look guilty. "I embedded the trackers in the plushies, for safety. Also, you took the cinnamon one. That one's my favorite." Ezreal narrowed his eyes. "You're insane." Dominic leaned down and gently kissed Ezreal's forehead, then his baby bump. Ezreal's heart jumped. "I just wanted to go for a drive," he muttered. "Alone, for 10 minutes. And you had to go full FBI on me." Dominic took his hands. "I'll let you drive alone next time, but only if the plushies come with." "You're lucky you're cute," Ezreal snapped. Dominic perked up. "You think I'm cute?" "I said you're lucky you're cute. Don't push it." Ezreal continued to throw a dramatic tantrum for 20 more minutes. Dominic let him, carried him when he got too tired, kissed his cheeks, and said nothing. Because he loved every second of it. A cabin, a fire, and a confession. After hours of sweet talking and one cupcake bribe, Dominic convinced Ezreal to stay the night at their secluded private cabin in the woods, his secret hideaway from the world. Ezreal flopped dramatically on the couch, one leg hanging off the side like a Greek tragedy. "You ruined my freedom drive," he muttered into a fluffy pillow. Dominic sat beside him, quiet for once. "I'm sorry." Ezreal blinked. Dominic stared into the fire. "I get scared. Every time I don't see you for 5 minutes, my chest tightens. My wolf starts pacing. I know I'm too much. I'm trying not to be." Ezreal's eyes softened just a little. "You are too much, but—" Dominic turned to him. Ezreal's cheeks turned pink. "I don't hate you." Dominic blinked. "You don't?" Ezreal rolled his eyes. "If I hated you, I wouldn't let you spoon-feed me cupcakes and cry at prenatal yoga." "You like me?" "Don't get cocky." Dominic's voice was barely a whisper. "Are you falling for me?" Ezreal didn't answer with words. Instead, he leaned forward, took Dominic's shirt in his hands, and pulled him in for a kiss. Soft, slow, warm. The tension that had been building for months broke like melting sugar. They kissed for what felt like forever, surrounded by firelight, plush toys, and cinnamon-scented pheromones. "I might be falling for you," Ezreal whispered, "but I'll deny it if you bring it up in public." Dominic grinned. "I'll take it." The nest. Later that night, after spicy but emotional cuddles, Ezreal stood in the corner of the cabin's bedroom, arranging things. Pillows, blankets, stuffed toys, soft lighting. Even that ugly plush Dominic got him on their second fake date. He fluffed the final pillow and sighed. "This is stupid," he muttered. Dominic peeked from the bathroom, towel in his hands. "What's stupid?" Ezreal crossed his arms. "The nesting thing." Dominic smiled. Ezreal looked away, cheeks warm. "It's not for you. It's for me. And the baby. Not for you. At all." "Understood." Ezreal gestured. "Get in." Dominic's eyes widened. "Really?" "Just to see if the layout works." Dominic crawled in like an excited golden retriever and immediately melted into center of the nest with a blissed-out sigh. Ezreal watched him with a tiny smile. "You fell asleep already, didn't you?" Dominic made a soft snoring noise, cuddling the cupcake plush. Ezreal sat beside him, one hand on his bump, one hand petting Dominic's hair. "You're a psycho-alpha lunatic," he whispered softly, "and somehow, you're mine." Chapter 5. The Ice Emperor on his way to raise our baby. Labor of love and screaming. It was 3:17 a.m. when Ezreal's water broke. "Dominic," Ezreal said alarmed, "I think it's time." Dominic dropped his phone, his protein smoothie, and all remaining brain cells. "It's time?" Like now time? Like the baby's coming out time? Yes, unless you think I'm peeing dramatically for fun. At the hospital, Dominic was a disaster in designer sweatpants. He fainted during the first contraction. He cried during the second. By the time Ezreal was full-on yelling at nurses, Dominic had to be physically restrained from threatening the doctor because he's making my mate uncomfortable. Dominic, Ezreal snapped mid-push. Shut up and hold my hand. I am holding your hand. You're breaking my fingers, cupcake. You put a whole baby in me. You can survive a little pain. Dominic sobbed. I'm sorry. I love you. You're so strong. Ezreal screamed louder. Tell me that after I'm done delivering your demon baby. 30 minutes later, there was silence. Then a cry. Then another. Ezreal collapsed against the pillow, breathless, sweaty, and exhausted. Dominic? Already crying again, clutching the tiny blanket-wrapped bundle like it was the answer to every question he'd ever asked. She's perfect, Dominic whispered. She looks like you. Ezreal peeked open one eye. She better not have your nose. Ice Emperor, Daddy Edition. A week later, the world exploded again. Not because of Dominic's business, but because the Ice Emperor called for a surprise press conference, holding a diaper bag. Dressed in soft cashmere, hair messy, dark circles under his eyes, he looked like a very rich ghost of a sleep-deprived alpha. I'm taking extended leave, Dominic declared. My current full-time role is being Ezreal's husband and a baby bottle expert. Reporters blinked. He continued, dead serious. I now know how to properly swaddle, distinguish poop types, and heat milk to the perfect Omega-approved temperature. Ezreal, watching from the nursery, nearly choked on his cupcake. Did he just say poop types on international television? Their baby gurgled in agreement. Domestic chaos. Baby tyranny. Dominic went all in. He attended mom groups. He bought a custom stroller with bulletproof wheels. He had a miniature cupcake bib made for their daughter with Daddy's little menace, embroidered in gold. Ezreal? He was trying to survive his clingy husband. Dominic, she doesn't need 3 strollers for different terrains. She can't even crawl. What if she wants options? She's a baby. She doesn't know what terrain is. I do. Ezreal groaned and dramatically flopped onto the couch. Dominic walked over, baby in one arm, bottle in the other, and kissed Ezreal on the forehead. Rest, I've got you both. Ezreal blinked at him, then looked away, cheeks warm. You're annoying. Dominic grinned. You love me. Ezreal grumbled. Shut up, idiot. Later that night, the 3 of them were curled in their home's mega nesting den, baby in the middle, Dominic asleep with one leg half off the beanbag, and Ezreal scrolling through pictures of their daughter. Stop spoiling her, Ezreal mumbled as Dominic woke up and immediately tried to hand her a platinum baby rattle. Dominic kissed both of them on the head. Can't help it. I fell in love with the sassiest, prettiest Omega in the world. Ezreal rolled his eyes, but was already smiling. Shut up, idiot, he muttered again, leaning into Dominic's shoulder as their baby yawned between them. Outside the window, the world kept spinning. But inside that soft little nesting bubble, everything was perfect.